Okay, so I'm going to do another ride-along video here for those of you that want to sit through this one. Ag Expo, Massey, Deere, some other things I'll discuss here today. So made the trip down there and back. Well, who's the lucky person today? DLH Farms. I won't read their comment, but y'all made it in a video. Anyway, so yeah, it was about 6.5 hours down there and coming back. So it's a little bit further to go than to the National Farm Machinery Show. And it's a whole lot more spread out, but the vendors are able to, for the most part, have a bigger lot or area to have more equipment to display. So, you know, that's neat, and also the fact it's a working farm and you can go see things in operation. Like the hay demos, and when I was waiting on the tram or shuttles, they called them shuttles, basically trailers with seating. For those of you that ain't ever been, that are pulled with tractors, and they carry you out into the farm to the various demos. But the peanut harvesting and picking field demos seem to be the most sought after, because while I was waiting on a shuttle to go to the hay fields, the ones for the peanuts were getting filled up most often. But anyway, I did not get to go and see that. I made it to the hay demo area later than I meant to, just because I did go to the AGCO area right off, and of course got to see the 4700 cab tractor, which again, as I mentioned, it was still kind of a prototype cab. Now, some of you've noted, you know, that the tractor is already being sold in other countries or other areas with cab, and you know, you're a little confused by why that's that the one we have here on, or was at the show on display, was still kind of a prototype. I don't have a very good answer for you on that, but it did come up, and of course a lot of things came up during the show, and I can't remember everything, but I can't remember exactly what was said as to why those were prototype cabs. They did have a 6700, well, they had a 5700 and a 6700, which are both part of that new global series of tractor, and they wanted me to get in the cab of the 5700 was an open station, and the 6700 had a cab, so they wanted me to get in the cab of the 6700 because I believe it was not so, I believe it was more production type than a prototype, but so I did get in it and looked around, and the cab on the 4700 tractor, even though it was supposedly the deluxe version, the guy did tell me it was more of a hybrid between a standard and a deluxe, or a classic and a deluxe, maybe that's how they're labeling them. But so it had the spring ride seat, which I think the deluxe would have the air ride seat, but that may be optional either. I don't remember. And there was some functions, controls, and switches and things that were not in the 4700. that would normally be in it for a deluxe that was in the 6700 cab. So that's why they had me look at it. I probably should have done some video with that, but I don't know if y'all would have picked up on the differences unless I just sat down and pointed them out. Now one of them was the hydraulic flow control, like the 5610 I got has, where you can split hydraulic flow and send more to the loader, you know, for loader work, and less to say the 3-point hitch and things. So that is a feature that wasn't in the 4700 they had there, but it's supposed to be, I believe, in the deluxe model. Anywho, so as I was saying, I did make my way over there first, and you know, got to talking to them folks, and they showed me around the tractor, and we did some videos there, which y'all have already seen. And then they told me about the 4708 cab open station. They're all running together on me. That I drove, the one that was out in the test drive area, I guess they'll call it. And so we took a ride out to the field. They took me over there, and met some more AGCO representatives over there. And then that's where I drove the 4708 open station. Some of you are asking me already what I thought about that tractor. You know, it's a pretty good, I mean, coming from the 5065E that I just got, I know it has a cab, but the 4700 is hands down a bigger tractor. It's just a bigger, heavier, beefy built tractor. Now, I'm not trying to put them in the same segment and comparing them apples to apples, because they're not. It's kind of apples to oranges. Because the 4700 series, I feel like, targets the John Deere 5085E, 5100E, and the M's for John Deere. That's the apples to apples comparison there, really. It's, you know, comparing the two sizes of the tractors, I think. So anywho, that said, the little lot there they had the tractors on, I mean, it wasn't really big. There wasn't an implement on the tractor. You know, I went and scooped up some dirt, but the dirt there was really dry and light, and, you know, wasn't like I could tell a whole lot about it. I could, you know, it was just enough to kind of run it around, feel the gears a little bit, and whatnot. They did have, and it was kind of hard to see on the video, they had dug out some dips in their little track there, and so you could kind of feel the ride a little bit, and what it was like to go over an uneven spot and whatnot. And as far as that goes, I mean, the tractor was smooth. I mean, it's got pretty good sized tires on it. They're pretty wide, you know, and all that I think helps the ride a good bit on it. The tires they're putting on them look really nice to see. The Tailborg or Trailborg, if I'm saying that right. That's a really nice looking tire, and that appears to be going to be the standard tire that's on them, that brand. I do think there's some size options, but that brand is going to be on them. As far as the motor, I mean, it fired right up and sounded identical to the 5610, which, you know, it's supposed to be the exact same motor, the 3.3 liter Sisu, or well, it's AGCO power now. I don't know if I should use the term Sisu anymore, but it's, you know, the same motor as the 5610. So in that respect, it felt and sounded very familiar on that. Of course, the shuttle lever or the reverser, whatever you want to call it, is basically, it was the exact same lever and functions that's in my 5610, other than it didn't have the ability to power shift gears, because obviously it was not a power shift transmission. So it was just your forward, reverse, and declutch. It did, however, have the little knob, so you could vary the speed at which the shuttle operated and the reaction time of that. So you could fine tune that to whatever particular job you're doing, or whatever setting you like to run it at, whether it be softer, smoother, or more aggressive. Like I've noted in one of my other earlier videos when I was looking at tractors, I actually did look at that exact same tractor model, a 4700 open station, and like I said, my brother-in-law, I was trying to get keep a cab tractor for him, so he could help me break hay and do things and stuff like that, and not have to deal with the allergies and different things from being in amongst all the hay dust and everything. So if aside from that, I would probably buy one of those open station, because I could literally get a bigger tractor, more horsepower for my money, and whatnot. But I'm trying to stick with a cab. So, but yeah, if I was looking for an open station tractor, the 55, 65, 75Es, 85Es, even M's, if they have M open stations. I hadn't kept up with that, but I would definitely look at that Massey. The biggest feature for it, I think, is the declutch button on the gear shift. It was hard to get enough speed. I told the AGCO reps this after I drove it. I said, it was hard to get enough speed in their little lot to fully get a feel for that, because I was having to go so slow that when you would press the declutch button and go to shift, you'd lose a lot of speed before you got into the next gear. But I could see where at a normal field operating speed, where you got the throttle up and and even running around moving hay and stuff like that. All you'd have to do is press that declutch button and shift gears just like you would any standard manual transmission, then let back off that button and it automatically clutches. So I can see where that'd take a lot of fatigue out of your leg, having to use the clutch all day long. I told them I was using the clutch a lot in that 5065E the other day, drilling that seed, because some of the smaller fields I was, picking up, turning around on ends and of the field, and I was clutching a lot, and actually my knee got to aching towards the end of the day, and we were talking about cab size differences between the Massey and the Deere, because that 4700 cab, even the 5600 that I got, it's a big cab. I can stretch my legs out in the cab just fully and not hit the front glass or anything else, and I can do that and kind of rest my legs or whatever I want to do. I was telling the AGCO rep that I went to do that out of kind of habit the other day on the 5065E, and I actually hit the windshield with my foot when I stretched my my leg out. So, you know, the John Deere cab is a little bit tighter cab in that respect, because on the John Deere's, the glass is closer to you in the steering wheel and the dash there. The Massey's, it's further forward. And if you hadn't ever been in one, that's kind of, when you sit down, that's the first thing you really notice is how much further forward that glass is in front of you than being right up on you, if you're used to a Deere. Anyway, you know, if you're looking for an open station, that 4700 is definitely one to look at. And I mean, with the 4700 cabs coming out, you know, if you got access to them, I'd say look at them. I'm not going to tell you what to do either way, as I still don't know what I'm going to do myself. I'm still on the fence in a major way. I don't, you know, I talked to one of the reps with Deere there at the show late in the day, and you know, we got to talking about my story with the 5065E, and you know, he was like, oh, we got to make that right. And I guess he was a regional rep for the Southeast, maybe. I didn't quite get that, but he knew Tri-Grain, he knew all the dealers. He was naming off names. He knew the people I've dealt with in the past in the Tri-Grain and whatnot. So, you know, he made the statement he was going to contact them about my issue and see what they could do to get that resolved. That said, I got a text this morning from the salesman, or the person that I've been dealing with at Tri-Grain, and he said they were going to be out at the first of the week to drive that tractor and try to figure out what's going on with the vibration issue. So, you know, I can't complain about Deere too much on that. I mean, they are making an effort to make it right. So, you know, I can't sit here and, you know, yeah, I'm aggravated that their tractors have electrical issues and maybe other issues, but and that's coming from the factory, not the dealers. But you know, yeah, I've complained about Tri-Grain in the past. Several of you have complained about Tri-Grain here on my channel about other things, and I talked to the guy at a store last night in person about a whole nother issue with Tri-Grain they were having with the tractor. But anyway, that's a whole nother side story. But I can't complain. Tri-Grain is stepping up to the plate right now, and they're you know, actively trying to fix and resolve the issues. So, you know, all I can do right now is let them do what they're going to do, and see how it turns out. Because if I jumped and went back to Massey in that regard, it's nothing going to happen soon. And here's why. The earliest I could get a 4700 cab tractor right now looks like probably December. Maybe December. I shouldn't say probably. Maybe December. And the way I was told that dealers may start getting onesie-twosies of them around that time frame. But when the question was asked to the AGCO reps, to two different people, the first date or time frame that rolled off their tongues was March. So that's why I say nothing's going to happen very soon. I've already told them I'm interested in a specific model number, in a specific version, and I have a specific reason why. And I don't even know that the onesie-twosies that are going to come in and say December is there's even going to be there's even going to be one of those models available. So, you know, if I go that route, and the whole other aspect to it is the money side of it. I mean, a lot, you know, I don't want to say a lot, but some of you have, you know, come out and said, you know, they need to drop one at my farm, just for the simple fact of the number of people that watch my channel and want to see reviews on that model tractor. And you know, I get that. I don't think I've ever thought of my channel as really having that big of an influence on sales. But as of just this week, it seems that maybe it does. You know, I just want to inform people of my experiences and what I think, and leave it at that. You know, I'm not going to push anything on anybody, but you know, I mean, it would appear that after a couple of comments have been made, that my reviews and videos on the 5610 had somewhat of an impact regarding sales of the tractors. So, you know, again, I don't get paid to do that, so it is what it is. But yeah, going back to what I was trying to say, traffic slowing down. You know, some people felt like they should just drop a tractor at the farm. I'm not asking for that. So I you know, I want to make that clear. I'm not trying to make that happen. You know, if they dropped a tractor off at the farm, well, you know, it'd be what it'd be. But like I said, the other aspect of me getting another Massey at this point is money, and you know, I would obviously have to buy the tractor to get one. You know, I've already got the 5610 for sale. You know, if someone doesn't buy that, then you know, there might be trade going on there. I've got the 5065E, which I own, and you know, I'll either have to sell it myself or trade it in too, and there's the potential for a loss of a lot of money there, possibly. So, you know, I can't afford to do that. You know, if I can't pull it off, I can't pull it off, either how bad I want one or not. So that's the thing. I did get some pricing numbers on the 4700 series cab, and what I see right now, I mean, it's going to be a little higher than what I paid for the 5065E, which naturally it's more tractor. I mean, I see that, but it puts me in at a point where, okay, is the price difference enough to go along with this whole thing of cutting back on the farm and saving money? Because it gets me to a point where maybe I'm just better off to keep the 5610. And yes, that's still on the plate. That may very well happen. It depends on what Deere does here with this 5065E. You know, I don't like this vibration I'm feeling in the tractor. I think some people have alluded that that's just going to be the nature of the tractor. I do not like that if that's the case. So I still feel it's coming from the tires. I believe the back tires are filled with too much fluid, which I believe may have something to do with it. And also, I need to do some checking, but I was talking with some people at the show and about that, and I believe it was noted radial tires, maybe? You do not put fluid in radial tires? because of how it affects the characteristics of the tire and the ride. So if it's radial, you should use weights, you know, physical weights instead of fluid to get ballast. So I meant to look to see if that was a radial tire. That may be the whole problem, that it just shouldn't even have fluid in the tire. Because the tire, if you look at it on the 5065E, it just looks bulged. I mean, it don't look right. So it just looks tight and whatnot. So anyway, we're gonna see if we get to the bottom of that. But like I said, the whole other part of the equation of getting into a 4700 is the money. And like I said, so there's three things that could happen. I keep the John Deere. I sell the 5610. I get rid of both the 5065E and the 5610 and get a 4700 when they're available. Or I get rid of the 5065E and I keep the 5610. I had to do some thinking about that last one, but you know, I've got to decide whether I can make enough money on the farm and just hay and not the row crops to justify keeping that 5610. And there's nothing wrong with the tractor. I even told some of the AGCO guys after watching them, they had a 5600 out there doing the hay, and they had some 5700s and the SLs and running. I was like, just after being out there watching them, it's like, man, I really want to keep my 5610 now. So I mean, the 5610 is a lot of tractor. There's a lot of nice features out there, and you know, I don't know if I'm gonna, you know, look back on it after it's gone and regret it. You know, it's one of those things. So I'm still mulling all that around. I think the worst thing here is I may have made a hasty decision getting the Deere, and you know, if I'd got the Deere and had no issue with it whatsoever up to this point, then, you know, I might have felt like I made the right decision going ahead and getting it. But since I've already had problems with it right off the bat, I don't know, it just started this whole saga all over again. I feel like I'm back where I was when I had the 6330 Premium. But anywho, so that's where we're at on that. And like I said, there's a specific model 4700 cab that I would want. I've already told the AGCO reps that. They know that. So and there's specific reasons why I want that model, and here's why. I think that specific model is going to be the model everybody's going to go after, and I've got reasons as to why that is. After the hay demos at the Ag Expo, and I'm sorry this turned into a long video. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. But you know, some of you find a lot of this information I spit out interesting, so I'm just offloading all this information. But anyway, I left the hay demo area. I went back into the expo area, or you know, where everything was on show, and I had about 2 hours, and I thought, you know what, because there was a lot of tractors there, more than even at the National Farm Machinery Show. It evolved of different brands, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to walk around and look at these tractors that they're here to look at. And the crowds were already kind of leaving, so I just kind of, you know, had free reign. And what I mean is, you know, when it's crowded and you go into an area where there's tractors, say Mahindra, LS, Kioti, Kubota, John Deere, any of them, you walk up a tractor to look at it, and there's other people looking, and they're in and out of the cab and everything. You got to watch your turn and all that. But when I went back into the show, there was a lot of people already leaving the show. So I walked up, you know, I remember I looked at the LS tractors. They had a new model on display there. They had it right in the center of their show area. And I was like, I don't want I'll go over and look at that. I think if there ain't many people around, I could just walk around, look, do what I wanted to do. So I started doing that. And you know, some of these brands have came a long way. They've refined their tractors to a point where they're beginning to be big players, you know, and especially coming from what a lot of us look at Deere now. You know, you've always, you know, I've said this before, there was always that mindset of pay now or pay later with Deere. So people always have felt, and in history this was true, you paid more for a Deere for the quality and reliability. And unfortunately, in some areas of Deere, that's not so anymore. So people are becoming upset with paying a premium price, is what some of you like to put it in the comments, for a Deere and not getting the premium tractor you expected. And when that starts happening, these other companies like Kioti and LS, Mahindra, as they start to make better products at a lower price point than Deere, you know, they suddenly become a player in the market to people that are looking. And especially a generation, my age, which I feel a lot of you are around my age group, that are trying to farm and make some money at it, and just make it. You know, a $10,000 price difference in a tractor is a big deal, because $10,000 is another implement. You know, that's a new disc mower, or a you know, half of a new baler, or, you know, a couple of rakes, or you know. So when you're younger and trying to establish a farm, you know, that means something. So you know, I walked around LS, looked at it, looked around the cab, and, you know, I'm thinking, you know, the fit and finish and everything looked pretty good. You know, I did walk around the Deere, I walked around some Kubotas. Mahindra's, we got a big Mahindra dealer here, and they sell a lot of them, and you know, I'm on the fence on a Mahindra, but I still think there's some refinement that can be done there on their part. But I did look at them, and you know, they've got good prices on their tractors. You know, I've seen some of their prices, and you know, for the price of what they got, it's probably not a bad tractor. But the tractor of the day, the one that, okay, if I wasn't going to buy a Deere, if I wasn't going to buy a Massey, and I had to go out, I had to buy something else. Oh, and I did look at New Hollands, by the way. They did have a, what was that thing? Like a T4 4.95 or something like that. I did look at a New Holland. And I looked at some Case, which I know they're the same thing, but anyway, just throw that out there. But the tractor of the day, the tractor I looked at, that I thought, you know, if I abandoned Deere and Massey altogether, the one I looked at, and some of you probably gonna find this interesting, was a Kioti. I've looked at those before at the National Farm Machinery Show, and I have told myself that before. You know, I remember, it's been a few years back now, when I remember looking at a lot of the tractors at the National Farm Machinery Show, and the two that stuck out, I remember I left that show, the Massey stuck out and the Kioti stuck out. And they had some Kiotis running out in the hay demo area too, and you kind of got to look at, because when you look out there in the field, it's another orange tractor, here's another Kubota. But it's not. I mean, they're making a nice looking tractor. They had some new models there, and I think they got one up to 115 horsepower now. And yeah, it was a nice tractor. I got up in the cab, looked around, and I thought, the fit and finish of this tractor, the refinement of it was very, very nice. Even around the engine, everything seemed real tidy, real tight. It didn't look through together. Even the back, the axle, hydraulics, everything seemed, well placed, well put, beefy. I remember walking around with us thinking, man, this is not a bad looking tractor. I'm not sure on the motors on those. Was it Deere or something like that? It's is that Korean? I think. I knew a few years ago their bigger tractors, which the biggest one they had was about 90 horsepower range. I think had a Perkins diesel in it. I'm not sure these tractors had Perkins in them or not, if they were actually the Deere engines or are out of that company. I don't know all the details of Kioti. Some of you out there may. But if Deere raked me over the coals, then Massey burnt me, I'd probably go look at a Kioti. And there's a dealer near me, very near me, probably within about 30-35 minutes of me. So it'd be very easy for me to go over there and do that. So I'm just throwing that out there. I'm trying to be very unbiased here. If you're out on the fence on a tractor right now and you got a Kioti dealer near you, go look at one. I don't care if you're not going to buy one, or at least go look at it, see what you think. I want to see if y'all think what I think about it, because I thought the quality of what I seen, the fit and finish and the features and the beefiness of that tractor was very much on par to compete against Deere and Massey at a high level. I mean, it was, and I didn't see any pricing. I don't know what the prices are. I don't know if the prices are competitive, if they're lower, if they're higher. But if I could put 3 tractors on my farm to doing a head-to-head comparison, that would be it. It'd be the Deere, Massey, and a Kioti. I'm just throwing that out there for what it's worth. Yeah, I've went on long enough here. I'll try to get this video up sometime later today. But so that's where I am. I'm still undecided on what I'm going to do, and nothing's going to happen very soon. As far as the 5610 goes, if somebody comes up and wants it and we come to an agreement, I will let it go. I hate to say it, but I will let it go. And I'll just move on from there. If things don't go good with Deere and I can't come to an agreement on a 4700, whether it be model, feature, price, time frame, whatever, I keep it if nobody buys it. I don't know. I mean, we might strike a trade deal on that to 4700. If I like the numbers, I might go that route. There's several things that could happen here, so I don't know. Anywho, I probably won't go on any more about that saga for right now. I'll keep you updated on what Deere does with the 5065E in that situation, and I'll probably get back more into just some other videos about the farm and what's going on. I got a whole nother saga which I'm debating on doing some videos on. It's completely non-farm related, about something else that I purchased that really took some twisted turns a few months ago. But anyway, I'll just put it this way: that item has been gone for nearly 2 months. Back to the manufacturer, actually to the plant, to have repairs done to it. So I don't know, I may do some videos of that because it just was an interesting story too. But it's just been an interesting year. 2016 is going to go down as one heck of a year for me. And it ain't over yet, unfortunately. Anywho, yeah, some of you already asking for some videos on some other items that I've got, so I want to try to take some time to focus on those items and whatnot. So yeah, but anyway, 70% chance of rain today. I've got my fingers crossed we're going to get some. They're saying 1/2 inch to 1 inch. So pray for us. Hope we get it. Thanks for watching if you watched this far, and stay tuned for more. See y'all.